The Wizards snap a 3-game losing streak, winning tonight in Philly. The dub, 121-111. In this episode, we're going to talk about the game a little bit next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. So, as you know, the Wizards, the big dub in Philly tonight, 121-111. So, the question is the offense better running through KP or through Bradley Beal? What do you think, E?
I would say both if I could. Just that dynamic duo, the pick and roll and pick and pop. But I think it was flowing better. It was going really well through Porzingis tonight. I know Joel Embiid didn't play tonight, which, I don't know how that matchup would have went Porzingis versus Embiid. But Porzingis was dominating, man. PJ Tucker couldn't guard him. Just from the jump, they went right to Porzingis. I love how Porzingis did a ball fake. PJ Tucker went for the fake, and Porzingis just went to the basket and dunked it. There were a couple times where Porzingis got some and ones. Got to the free throw line a lot tonight, 11 for 11. Just the gravity he makes, the hockey passes he makes, just for open shots for guys. Porzingis, he dominated from start to finish. They could not guard him. I hated how they took away that and one from him where he just did the flip shot behind his head. That definitely was an and one. But he, like I said, he dominated from start to finish. 11 for 11 from the free throw line. Also looking at some other numbers from him. But, yeah, when he gets the ball at the high post, he's just an automatic mismatch. Guys can't guard him, and I think he took advantage of Embiid not being there once again, shooting over PJ Tucker, shooting over Tobias Harris, getting the mismatches on James Harden and other guards that were guarding him. And Porzingis really dominated once again from start. 30 points, 9 boards, was a +7 tonight, had 3 blocks, 3 assists. He's really playing at an all-star level, and I think they definitely should run the offense through him, and they should get him some more high post touches out there because he really is a force, and he's really playing at an all-star level. So when it runs through him, through the paint, he gets touches. He makes it easier for Bill. They can do pick and rolls, pick and pops. There are plays where, he would set a screen, they'd pass the ball to Bill in the corner and just give it to Porzingis in the post, and he was unguardable at times tonight. He really dominated, and that's what I love to see from him. And I think the more chemistry with Bill and Porzingis, the chemistry gets better, the more dangerous this team can be.
Absolutely. This team was dangerous tonight. That duo of KP and Bradley Beal, they showed out tonight. This was a very good win. I know Embiid's not playing, but this is a good quality win, especially snapping a 3-game losing streak. Last 3 games, we just have not looked like a good team. To come into Philly, especially with the World Series playing, Philly fans are already feeling it tonight. So to come into, Philly and get this win, with or without Embiid, I think it's still a good quality win. Like you said, combining for almost 60 points. This duo was rocking tonight. Kuz, 18 points contributed. He looked a lot better tonight. The ball movement was good tonight. They were passing the ball. They were finding open man. It was good team basketball tonight. Now, obviously, Monte Morris contributed 6 points, but he did contribute 6 assists. And Gil, second night in a row, starting 2 points, maybe a little underwhelming, but, overall, the starting unit looked good. Now, the bench looked better than previous couple games. Rui, 10 points. 10 rebounds, Barton 11 points, Gaff 10 points. So the bench came out and showed out tonight. So now, like you said, this duo at their best can be an all-star duo. It's just finding that consistency, and especially finding consistency against teams that we should beat. I think 76ers are a team that we should beat if we want to play in the playoffs. So no, I totally agree.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah. I mean, this is definitely a team that you have to take advantage of with Joel Embiid not being there. Matisse Thybulle also got injured too. But like you said, all-around game, 6 guys in double figures. You look at some of the numbers, 68 points in the paint. They dominated in the paint. Gafford stepped up and played a lot better tonight as well. They got to the free throw line a lot, 32 free throws. We shot more free throws than the Sixers. It's usually the other way around. It's usually the other team getting about 30 free throws, and we only get to the free throw line 5 times. Well, the Wizards shot 26 for 32 from the free throw line. Deni and Rui tonight, we'll talk about them later, but they were super impactful. Deni responded in a great way from being demoted from the starting lineup. He did other things. He didn't score a lot, but he had a big strip steal on James Harden where he slapped the ball away from him. That led to a good possession for the Washington Wizards. That was a huge stop down the stretch in the clutch. Rui had some good rebounds down the stretch that we needed. 10 points, 10 boards, and Kuz, he hasn't shot the ball. He didn't shoot the ball well in the 3-game losing streak. He found other ways to be effective. Made some threes in the first half, but he had some nice backdoor cuts, some nice slip cuts to the rim, and then he had a clutch put back down a stretch too to seal the deal to put us up by 10. So other guys contributed in other ways, and I love the lineup that West put out there tonight where, Monte Morris, he had a better first half, but he realized that they needed to go big, and they had an advantage against the Sixers. He had Beal at the point, Rui, Deni, Kuz all played at the same time. Porzingis was the 5. I think it was Bill, Deni, Rui, Kuz, Bill, Rui, Deni, Kuz, and Porzingis. So that's a huge lineup there. Rui's getting deflections. That's a good lineup. Without DeLon right there, I think that's an impactful lineup, a long, switchable lineup with guys with long arms, long wingspans. And I think West improved. He learned a lot from the last game because we gave Georges Niang. We didn't let him have a bunch of wide open shots. I want to see how many points Niang had because last game he just went crazy against us. He had 13 points. He hit 3 threes, but still I feel like we kind of did a better job on him. And James Harden, they didn't double on James Harden because the double team of James Harden was killing us last game. Tyrese Maxey had a great game too, 32 points. I mean, Maxey is just playing really good ball. He's playing at all-star level this year too. But I think West was smarter with doubling. They didn't double as much, and they didn't play a lot of zone, so I was happy with that because they just didn't give the Sixers still shot ridiculous. They were ridiculously hot from the three-point line. They hit 19 threes tonight, but I do want to commend West for doing a better job with the lineups tonight and a better job with defensive schemes. They made it tough for the Sixers. They hit a lot of tough threes tonight.
Nah, West definitely stepped up tonight. He definitely stepped up game plan wise. And like you said, big ups to Deni and Rui defensively. Deni was doing his thing. He really stepped up, especially being benched. He really responded. So this is what you want to see from Deni. Again, 5 points, but he did contribute 8 rebounds. And, Denny is not a focal point on offense. So, 5 points, I'll take it. His defense was on point. Rui, you see a little bit of work being done on the defensive end with Rui. You do see a difference this season with Rui defensively. He's starting to round out into a more of a complete player. Now, is he that lockdown guy? Nah, but he has made a lot of strides defensively. So now, like you said, a lot of people, this was a good team win. The bench really responded. Starting unit responded. Now, Gil starting at the 3. I don't know if I am in favor of that going forward. I just don't see him starting. I watched the interview where, he's talking about his reasons, and it is what it is. But I'm not a fan of him being at the 3. But, with Kispert coming back and DeLon coming back, hopefully that's not the case going forward because, 3-point shooting, is another thing we need to touch on. Was a good quality win overall team-wise, but 3-point shooting continues to be an issue. Tonight we shot 23%. So with Kispert coming back and DeLon coming back eventually, I do see that getting better, but are you pushing the panic button with 3-point shot right now? Or what do you think about the struggles behind the arc?
No, that's a good question. We struggled to shoot from 3 last year, and we're bottom 5 in 3-point attempts this year again, and we were bottom 5 in 3-point attempts last year as well. So I don't know if it's West's philosophy. I know on the radio this morning he said he wanted to push the pace and shoot more threes, but guys just aren't knocking them down. I think Kispert could help with that. DeLon Wright could help with that too. Kuz hit 2 threes tonight. Porzingis hit 1. But they were just scoring in the paint tonight, so they didn't really need to shoot threes. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just keep getting to the basket. And it's 68 points in the paint is that's that's basically half of their points. So getting to the free throw line tonight was huge. Getting into the paint was huge. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. As far as getting to the paint, yes, we would love to see them hit some open shots, but once again, if just keep going with what's working for you. Porzingis, if you're running the offense through Porzingis, it might be that kind of night. Bradley Beal hasn't really shot well from the 3. He only shot 2 threes tonight. He's just not that 3-point shooter that he used to be. He's really a mid-range scorer, and this was his best game. After we get a quick word from Prize Picks, I do want to give Bradley Beal some credit tonight. I do.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. But real quick, tonight's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. How does it work? You pick 2 to 5 players, and if they go score more or less than their Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 10 times your money on any entry. I got some money tonight. No competing against other people. It's just you versus the projections available. Prize Picks offers projections on any sport that you can watch. That includes the NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, WNBA, NASCAR, MMA, men's and women's college basketball, college football, even Euro basketball, cricket too. Entries can be made in 60 seconds or less. It's that easy. Safe and fast withdrawals. Currently operational in over 30 states and Canada. Download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with promo code locked on. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit 50, PrizePicks will give you 50. Don't forget to enter promo code locked on as sign up for an instant deposit match up to $100. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. The biggest stories of the day plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day. Available on Odyssey app, YouTube, or wherever you get podcasts. So, looking at Philly real quick, like you said, Maxey showed out 32 points. James Harden, he did 24 points, but I think Deni did do a good job guarding him tonight. And obviously Tobias Harris adding 18. So overall, yes, it's a good quality win, especially against the 76ers. They were without Embiid, but does this give you more optimism going forward against, going against these higher echelon teams in the East?
I think they're starting to find their identity a little bit. I would say that. We just talked about three-point shooting. Three-point shooting is just not our calling. There's going to be some nights we're going to have to hit some threes, and knock down some open ones. But I think, just getting to the paint, running the offense through Porzingis. If they get to find their identity and establish roles, because that's the thing with Wes Unseld Jr. Last year, they didn't establish roles. Too many guys winning touches and not knowing their roles at all, and a lot of conflict and fighting in the locker room and whatnot. I think they do have more guys that want to buy in this season, but they got to establish some roles. Like, Denny's going to be our perimeter stopper. DeLon Wright, when he was available, he was our defensive stopper. But just Denny being that defensive stopper, Brad being that scorer from the mid-range, getting to the basket, being that off-ball scorer, Porzingis running the offense through him, Kuzma moving without the ball, scoring that way, Rui just being that bench scorer, Will Barton being a sixth man. I thought Will Barton had some good moments tonight too. I did want him to pass the ball on a fast break. There was one time where he took it to the and just missed the layup. And then Gafford just coming off the bench and playing with energy. So I think that's the way that they can beat teams that are championship contenders, say like the Bucks, the Miami Heat, the Celtics. That's how they can hang in with teams like that. They have to find their identity and establish roles and get good chemistry. So that's the way they can compete. I would love to see them play against Joel Embiid with a healthy squad, but I think that's the way they can compete. With Denny playing defense like that, Rui coming off the bench playing like that, Porzingis playing at a high level like that, and Bradley Beal scoring. And Bradley Beal, won the Defensive Player of the Game belt from Wes Unseld Jr. Now, a lot of people, you could argue and say Denny had some nasty blocks tonight. He blocked Tobias Harris. I want to say he blocked Tyrese Maxey. He was blocking their shots off the glass as well. But Wes Unseld Jr., he said, quote, his overall activity, he's got to navigate a lot of screens. So that's why he gave the Defensive Player of the Game belt to Bradley Beal. We haven't had a Defensive Player of the Game belt in the last 3 losses. Nobody deserved it. How atrocious this defense was. They couldn't guard a park car at all. But to answer your question, I think that's how we can compete. I do think we can win some games against those top teams this year if they find their identity and everybody plays within their role.
Yeah, I agree. I think you hit the nail on the head. Everybody knowing their role going forward. Now, I think they are a move away, but I'm going to get to that in a second. But if you look at the starting lineup, as far as expected roles that I would expect from them, Morris continuing to be that distributor, I think, going forward, because his shot was starting to go along, and then obviously the 96 points. But, just like Denny, he's not a focal point of offense, so I'm not too worried, with Morris. But I do think that going forward, maybe finding a starting point guard. I know, I'm saying, I think that his role going forward to really, if we are want to be serious about contending in the Eastern Conference, I think Monte Morris is best fit as a 6-man or a backup point guard. But, Bill, like you said, being that scorer, not so much the playmaker or trying to create his own shot. I think he's best served, spot up shooter, scorer, driving the lane. Because when Bradley Beal drives the lane, because he is that focal point on offense. He's the guy that teams are going to game plan against, and show tonight. They made it hard tonight for Brad, and the fact that with the defense they were playing on Brad, he still got 29 points. Mad respect, because they were centered on Brad tonight. They really were. So that's what I want to see. He responded. This was the response that we wanted to see, and this is the response his team needed, because the show, like I said, the show out in Philly and beat the 76ers. I know minus Embiid, but it's still a really good team without Embiid. And, the Philly fans are feeling it because, the Philly's about to win the World Series. So, they came in and they did their job. So that's what you want to see. But
yeah, you saw Brad and Porzingis going back and forth with the Philly fans.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want to see, man, because, Philly fans are crazy. So,
right, they got a jail in the stadium.
Oh, man. So, this was a good win. This was a much needed win. So I'm not even tripping about Embiid. Look, we took advantage of that. And talking about, taking advantage. PJ Tucker couldn't roll with KP tonight. I mean, that height advantage showed. He couldn't stop him. KP took advantage of the height, and just, wow. To me, he's played like an all-star. We've had our ups and downs this season, but KP has been that one constant threat in his lineup. He's just been as advertised coming over from Dallas. When he's healthy, he's a force to be reckoned with in the NBA. It just the potential of this player is just, man, this combo could be good, and it's really good to talk about a win. Last 3 games we kind of down, kind of upset, that dub is much needed. So, no, overall, great team win.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, we were talking about Bradley Beal. We were tough on him, rightfully so. I mean, he was awful against the Celtics. He didn't really play well against the Sixers last game either. He didn't really play well against Indiana either. And he was a big part of those losses. When you have that contract, you have high expectations. No trade clause, trade kicker. Keep saying it every time. The team that you're the heart and soul of the team. You're supposed to be the face of the franchise. And I think I said I didn't see a complete game from him at all this year. I think he had good moments. The Bulls game, he was clutch in the second half. That win. The Pacers game, he was solid throughout. But I think this game he really dominated throughout the whole game, where there were just parts of the game where he really was unstoppable, hitting the mid-range shots, being off ball, like you said. He's just better when somebody's able to facilitate and get him the basketball rather than him being that point guard Bill. That's where he gets into trouble and gets turnovers. But he's still a really good playmaker. He had some really good passes. He had a pass to Anthony Gill on a cut. He had a beautiful pass to Porzingis as well. So, man, he stepped up tonight. And defensively, he was good. Like I said, you could debate between him and Deni tonight for the defensive player of the game. But, yeah, Rui and Deni tonight, they were a plus 14. I want to say Rui was a plus 14 and Deni was a plus 17. Let me make sure I got it right. But both the young guys stepped up and they responded. Rui was a plus 14 tonight, double, 10 points, 10 boards. And Deni had 5 points. He had 5 fouls, but 8 boards and 1 assist. And he had 3 blocks tonight, too. He was a plus 17. And Deni did a good job rebounding and bringing the ball up, too. So, once again, yeah, just a solid win. I have nothing really negative to say tonight. Happy about that. The 3-game losing streak was rough. But they're going to have rough patches like this. So I love the way that they responded. I know Taj Gibson talked to the guys in the locker room, and I thought they really, really responded well. So I'm proud of the guys tonight, and they can build off this against a tough Nets team.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I have only one thing that I'm going to say negative. But before I say that, no, overall, great win. I mean, great team win. The team responded. They really did. They responded. I think the only negative is defense was a lot better with this game, but transition defense continues to be an issue. Still, you saw a few times, taking the time to get down the court, and we continue to get killed on transition defense. So that's one area I want us to shore up. Paint defense is getting better. I mean, overall defense did get better. Transition D, yeah, but I'm not going to get, look, this is a dub. So, no, overall great win. Couple of stats tonight. Rui recorded his 7th double-double. And KP, back-to-back 30-point games since the 2020 bubble. So what do you think about that?
I love it, man. It's Porzingis getting back to his form. I think this is the best way you can use him. Just running the offense through him. He's playing really well. Like we said over the summertime too, bearded Porzingis. He looks spry. He looks athletic. This is the most healthy that he's looked. And they're running the offense through him. He's knocking down shots. He's scoring in the post. He's just a human mismatch. That's why they call him the unicorn. And I think he's found a home. I think this is a revenge season for him. It didn't work out in New York at the end. It didn't work out in Dallas. And I think this time, I think this is a home for him, and I think he can really settle in here and dominate. Where yes, I think at times he will be the number one option. He will be the go-to guy. On him and Brad can take turns, but I think there will be times where there's going to be some games where Porzingis is going to be the best player on the court.
Yeah, it's definitely a revenge tour. I mean, look, revenge is best served cold, right? Because brother been cold, man. I mean, he's been playing. So not like, I think everybody in the NBA can agree that barring health, this is the talent of the guy. This guy can play, he can score, he can shoot, he can defend. That's why they call him the unicorn. I mean, he's been incredible in DC. So yeah, I would love to see him here long term. I think he's a good fit for this organization, good fit for the city. He's got a very blue collar play, style to him. He's a hustler, man. So no, I love what I see from KP overall right now. So before we roll out, who's your player of the game and who's your defensive player of the game?
Oh man, and then we got to get to some comments too. I guess we'll read about we'll read about 5 to 10 comments, and then we'll wrap up after this. My player of the game tonight is Porzingis, man. I really wish he would have got the double-double, but like I said, from start to finish, he dominated and made all his free throws tonight. 11 for 11 from the free throw line, took advantage of every mismatch, and he just dominated, and that's what we need from him. And he put the team on his back a couple of times. You said defensive player. I love what Brad did, but I am going to go with Deni, man. That was such a huge steal on James Harden. The blocks tonight, too. I thought he was guarding a couple guys, Maxey, Tobias, James Harden. I thought Deni did a heck of a job. But I thought Brad played. This was one of his better defensive games for sure, too.
Yeah, I agree. I think with player of the game, I'm going to roll with Beal. I've been hard on Beal. I've been real hard on him, but he showed out tonight. He responded. KP has been consistent, but, Brad has been up and down. And like I said, we've been hard on him, but he definitely responded in this game. Defensively, you got to go Deni. Deni he's just an elite level defender. Like I said, he's not a focal point on offense, so I'm not too worried about the points. I think his shot will come along. I think he will develop his offensive tool set. I just think that right now his defense is just elite. So would I like to see him in the starting lineup going forward? Yeah, I mean, I would. I like to see, I don't get why Gil's there, but that's a whole other conversation. But I think that Deni needs to be plugged in at 3. I think he's shown that he can guard the best player on the other team. He has shown that. Look, James Harden, even now at his age, he is still a threat. He showed. James Harden can still go to the free throw line anytime he wants. He can draw. He's just a king of drawing fouls. So they contain him. You probably thinking 24 points to contain them. Yeah, absolutely. This guy can still throw down 30 points whenever he wants to. So, yeah, Deni, he definitely gets the belt for me. But I can see why Brad would get it because Brad, he took steps forward defensively tonight too. He just is a good all around game for him. So, yeah, absolutely, I completely agree.
Definitely. Perfect findings. I forgot to talk about the missed layup from Deni down the stretch. Yes, I was very upset with him for that. I give Deni a very hard time. He misses too many layups. He's too talented to miss layups. He's too tall. You're 6'9". You got to finish your layups. Yes, he had a great defensive game. But, of course, I did earlier say there was nothing negative to really say. But, yes, Brandon, you already brought up your part that you didn't like. That's my part that I did not like at all was that missed layup because he had a $100 move but a 10-cent finish. And he had a nice play where he finished on James Harden, too. I do want to see him go left. He didn't go left at all tonight either. He was right-hand dominant going to the basket and making any move that he made tonight. But defensively, he was a stalwart. He was a steel curtain out there. He was locked down. I'm surprised he didn't throw up the X on the steal on James Harden. But, yes, he did get back to playing well on defense, and he says he's not giving up his tickets just yet because he did say he was going – you did say you were going to give him some tickets last episode, but I guess, Deni played a lot, and he was contributing to the win. So I guess, yeah, you go ahead and keep your tickets. It's up to you, perfect findings.
Yeah, I mean, Deni did his thing, but you did say you're going to give him the tickets, man. I'm just saying, but nah. I mean, I would like to see the X. I think he, when you see the X, the confidence is there. I want to see Deni with confidence. With confidence, he's a really good player, especially defensively. But again, the layups, he does have to get better with finishing, finishing, especially in traffic. He's got to get better with that. But like I said, offensively, you're not expecting too much. Not that he can't, score when needed. It's just, we have so many weapons already. It's just his defense is his greatest asset right now. So yeah, I completely agree. Deni was the man tonight.
Definitely. Maya said perfect finals. Yep, solid game. You could see he was a little bit shaken by that missed layup, but he bounced back right after. Denny was a huge part of the win. Yep, definitely talked about that. He certainly was. A pod named Kickback. That's my guy. I was on his podcast a couple weeks ago. Make sure you guys subscribe to him on YouTube. He says, "What's up, fam? Run through KP. Let Brad Jill or gel when he needs to, or kill when he needs to, and let Kuz close." I like how we closed the game too. I thought we put our foot on the necks and smell blood as well. Where there's some games where we don't finish the games well. I thought we put the Sixers away when we needed to. But Brandon, what's your thoughts on his comment?
No, I agree. I think the offense definitely needs to be run through KP. It just is more fluid. Him and Brad they're more fluid when the offense runs through him. The potential with the pick and pop, man, is just when they're on, this could be a very scary lineup. So no, I completely agree.
Yeah, Porzingis had a nice pass where Brad made a backdoor cut in the first half too. Almost forgot about that. He made a beautiful pass where Brad cut. So just like last year in that Lakers game where he dunked on LeBron and he was scoring over Russell Westbrook, guys couldn't guard him at the high post. So and that's what Wes Unseld Jr. wants to do with he kind of wants that Nuggets offense over here, or something similar to Jokic and Jamal Murray. I know they're totally different players, but Porzingis is an underrated passer. He's a good passer too. He's not a passer like Jokic, of course, behind the back and behind his head type passes, just eyes on the back of your head type of passes. But Porzingis is a good passer, and he's a unicorn. He's a guy that can shoot from the three and really score in the post. So I think the offense is better suited to run through Porzingis. Monte Morris, he can bring the ball up, hand to Porzingis, and then make it Porzingis, isolation, backdoor cuts, all kinds of stuff, find open shooters. And I think that's the best way, or pick and roll with Brad. And I think that's the best way to go. Biggie Steve says great all around game. He also says transition defense was much better tonight. Omer says Bradley Beal got the Wizards belt for defensive player of the game. Bradley Beal got the Wizard. He said it again. Kobe Hachimura says KP Kuz, Rui, Deni, Beal lineup is the one. What was your thoughts about that lineup?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you said, those are taller lineup. Yeah. I completely agree. That was a good lineup. Bill, Deni, Rui, Kuz, yeah, a lot of scoring. Especially with Deni and Rui stepping up defensively. So that lineup was rocking. Completely agree.
Yeah, I love it. I talked about that earlier too. It's just a tall lineup that has versatility. Rui, Deni, and Kuz, they love playing together. So I want to see that. I want to see that more. I really do. And I thought Brad was really effective with that lineup too. Sadar says that's what I like to see tonight. All I can ask for is just effort, which we weren't showing the last few games. That is true. We weren't. They weren't showing effort at all. They weren't getting back on defense, leaving guys wide open. It was really bad, but they really bounced back. Big J52 said, "Yep, we saw some big point." Denny. Area 11 says, "Nice win. Denny was the X factor locking up tonight. Rui as well. Need to see this against a legit team now." So, yeah. They got the Nets on Friday, so we'll definitely preview that. Tomorrow night, Big Simple 422 says we lit. Shout out to Big Simple, man. Thank you for coming in. We'll read about 2 more comments and then wrap it up. Red Wings 01 says 3-point shooting is still an issue. Eager to get Kispert back, hopefully in time for the Nets. What's your thoughts about that?
Yeah, 3-point shooting, like you said, continues to be an issue, but I'm optimistic that Kispert is going to help alleviate that a little bit. And same thing with DeLon. So I think it's one of those things where it's kind of wait and see. Kispert hasn't played and DeLon's out. DeLon was shooting from a high percentage before he went down with injury. So, I kind of wait and see. But yeah, 3-point shooting has to get better.
Yeah, Red Wings 01 said we also lack a true starting point guard. I think you alluded to that before. Yeah, it's a point guard by committee. I know when DeLon gets back, that will help. But yeah, we don't have a point guard that really gets into the paint and penetrates and gets open shots for guys. I think Monte is a solid point guard, but he's really a backup. And he's a guy that gets stopped in the mid range. He doesn't really get into the paint and create open lanes for guys. Like he doesn't create easy passes for Gafford or Porzingis. He doesn't really create any lobs for our bigs or anything like that. He's just a steady Eddie kind of point guard.
Yeah, I mean Monte, he's He's decent right now. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't think he's played completely terrible, but no, I think we need going forward, whether at the deadline or for us to really make a run this year. I think that we need a true point guard who's going to drive the lane, open up the offense a little bit. And that's why it's so important to have that type of point guard, because with a lot of the scorers and shooters we have on this team, when you have a point guard who can penetrate and kind of open up the offense, it just makes. I think that's truly going to open up this offense for Kuz and Brad. So no, I completely agree.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. All right. So we'll probably wrap it up here. And yeah, Brandon, you can wrap it up, man. We got a good win, a dub. I love to see it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. The biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day. Available on Odyssey app, YouTube, wherever you get podcasts. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in. Big dub tonight. Big dub tonight for the Wiz. So again, check out me and my guy, the real Ed Oliver, on Twitter and Instagram. And Friday night, Brooklyn Nets. So definitely watch the game, show your support, and let's get this dub. Let's go for 2 in a row. So everybody have a good night and peace.